Hi, it's me, Nikki, and I am here with a homeschool tag. I wasn't tagged in it, and I'm not going to tag anyone in it, but if you would like to do it, go ahead. I'm doing it because these are a lot of questions that I get asked all the time about homeschooling and why I do it and how I do it, and so I thought that this would be a good way to just throw it out there, that this is what I love to do. So, first off, I'd like to share that I have homeschooled for 13 years now. I started homeschooling when my oldest was 2.5, and I haven't looked back. We have just always done it since then. On a side note, if you hear anything, my 12-year-old is playing with my 1-year-old, who is still up, even though it's 9:30 at night, so maybe he'll sleep in. So number one, why are you homeschooling? The easy answer is that God called us to do this. The longer answer is that I love being with my kids. I love teaching them things. I love the whole family experience that comes from it. And so we as a family have decided to continue to do this. So that's why. And there's a whole other slew of reasons that I could go into, but those are the main reasons. Number two, what do your children think of homeschooling? My children love it. My children have never really asked to go to public school. My 5-year-old did ask when she was going to go to school, and I told her that we homeschool, and she said, okay, good. When can I start first grade? And so, it's just, we've always done it, and I think that they like the freedom that comes with it, and knowing that, you know, a lot of their friends go to school for 6 to 8 hours a day, and they really go to school for like 4 hours a day. I think that they like that. He's playing peekaboo. Is your extended family supportive? Some of them. The ones that we are in a lot of contact with, they are supportive. Other ones that kind of have chosen that don't really like what we do have kind of stepped out all on their own. We've never blocked anyone from our lives, but there are a few people that have decided that we're the odd ones, and maybe we are, but that's okay. We like it. Number 4, were you homeschooled? No, I was not. I always went to public school. I went from preschool all the way up through college. My husband did do kindergarten at home because his kindergarten teacher at the public school had told his mom that he wasn't mature enough for kindergarten. Otherwise, he went to private school and public school, and my mother-in-law actually owns a charter school and has homeschooled students, and so we've been kind of encased in it as adults, but never as children. Number 5, what is the best advice that you've been given or you have to give? My best advice is that you're homeschooling. It is done at home, not at school. So you don't need to make it look like a school. You can do what works for your family. I think the best advice I was ever given in general was when my oldest son was 2 weeks old. I visited an aunt, and she told me, do what is right for you and your baby, and don't listen to what all the critics say. At the time, she was talking about the fact that he's co-slept with us, and I held him all the time, and a lot of family was telling me to put him down, but I think that works for this as well. Do what works for your family, what works for your kids, for the individual kids at that. Okay, number 6, your favorite thing about homeschooling. My favorite thing is the freedom. We always take the whole month of December off, and we just immerse ourselves in the celebration of the birth of our Savior. We always take several weeks off around Easter and immerse ourselves in the celebration of the resurrection of our Savior. We do those things. We have that freedom. We often do a 4-day-a-week school and take a 3-day weekend because we can. And so we do love that. Hi, you're okay. Go play with Melody. Go play. Okay. Number 7. My least favorite thing about homeschooling. I would say my least favorite thing about homeschooling is probably trying to balance homeschooling and housework, and but mostly it is dealing with this stigma of are my kids good enough? Because you don't hear that from you know, you don't hear that about publicly school kids. They're not asked, parents aren't asked to defend their kids' education on a daily basis, but I am. And so I think that that's one of my least favorite things. Sorry, this is getting all shaken up by a very cute little 1-year-old who is probably getting a little bit tired now. So, okay. Number 8, what is the most annoying comment you've gotten? Along with the having to defend my children's education, I think that the most annoying comment is, how do I socialize them? And for me, I feel like you socialize an animal and you educate a child. My kids are very social. My kids have friends of various ages. They can play with little tiny all the way up to teenagers and have conversations with adults and everyone in the middle. And so I feel like they're maybe more socialized than a publicly schooled child. They do tend to gravitate towards just kids of like-mindedness. Just the other day, I was watching a little boy who was 10, and my boys were like, "We're having so much fun. Can he just sleep over tonight?" And you know, they're just having a great time together because they do the same things together. Okay, number 9. What is one thing that didn't work for us? I'll tell you, the very first year I did school at home. I made my dining room look like a schoolroom. We functioned like a school. We started school at 8. We ended school at 3. And I made sure that we did all 9 subjects that day. And I remember it just being torture for me, for Alex. Alex he hated kindergarten for the most part because I was so like, no, we can't keep talking about this. We've got to move on. That's not time. That's not on the schedule. And yeah, so that definitely didn't work for me. And the one thing that did work was figuring out that we need to function in a much more relaxed way. And once we started doing that, once we started functioning in a way that was school at home instead of, or our whole entire life was homeschool instead of school at home, things just worked a lot easier. I also figured out a pretty long time ago that you can't, for us, we needed to do things like unit studies and the Charlotte Mason way because workbooks just weren't working for us. And so, Mel, you want to take him?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 11, what is your homeschool style? So I kind of hit that a little bit, but my homeschool style is we do Charlotte Mason and unit study, kind of mushed together. I like a lot of the Charlotte Mason idea of like engrossing yourselves in living books and just reading to your kids and having them read and just be engulfed in books. And at the same time, we do, for about, I'm going to say 8 years now, we have done the Konos curriculum. And we use those unit studies. And even though now I have older kids that have kind of done a lot of the stuff, we as a whole family can do it. So everything, Elizabeth and Rylea can be in the same unit study as Alex and Tylor and Melodey because we're all learning the same subject, whether it's we're learning about the ears and the inner working of it, or we're learning about railroads, or we're learning about geography, or we're learning whatever it is that we're engrossing ourselves in. We did a Native American study that lasted probably 3 months last year, and the entire family was involved in it. And so that's kind of what we do. And then number 12, does your spouse help? For the most part, no. For the most part, I do it. But he does do things like he works with art with Melodey. He does programming with Alex. He does graphic design and videography with Tylor. So he does a lot of like more the elective type stuff with the kids because he is more of that creative minded person and he works that way. And so he can kind of help them or guide them. He helps me pick out curriculum and books and that type of thing, but he doesn't really help with the day-to-day as he's off working and I'm here. So that was all of the questions. I loved answering all of these. If you have more questions about how I homeschool or why I homeschool, feel free to put them in the comments below. Later on at the end of the summer, I'll go through all of my curriculum choice and everything that we're going to be using for each child. And probably in a week or so, I'll do a homeschool room tour so that you can see where we school in our house and how that kind of functions, because I do have a baby, a preschooler, grade school, and junior high, and 2 in high school. So how we kind of function and how we kind of go with that. And then of course when school starts, I'll go over my schedule and everything like that. So, but feel free to ask any questions down below and I'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Give this video a thumbs up, please subscribe below, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.